Hi, welcome to another episode of Deployapps.io series. So in this screencast, we will see how we can trigger deployment. So earlier we have seen that we can trigger deployment in two ways. One is like manually clicking this icon. Another is if the push to deploy is enabled from this array screen, push to deploy, then whenever we will make some push some changes to the repository particular branch, the deployment will happen. Now we will see another ways. So if I click on this details, so here we will able to see that we have another way to trigger the deployment. So this is the URL you can use, and if you request this URL, a deployment will trigger. And if you can share this URL to somebody if you don't want to give access to the deployapps.io, so they can hit this URL to trigger the auto deployment. Okay, so and also let's say if you have shared and you want to change that URL and you don't want to revoke the access, so you can hit this refresh, so it will generate a new URL and earlier URL will not work. So let me see the auto deployment via URL. So I'm copying this URL and let's go to the deployment pipeline. So we will able to see that currently the deployment is not happening, but if I hit this URL, you don't have to be logged in. You can call this URL via terminal or via browser from anywhere via your applications. So I have triggered, so it's showing that deployment is initiated. And if I close these things and get back to the deployment, here you can see the deployment is started. So this is how you can trigger the deployment. And if I go back to the deployments, we can see our new deployment happen and took like 10 seconds, and currently we have like 4 deployments. Now where it will be useful, so let's say you want to run this deployment via some cron job. You can set up cron job like this so that periodically your deployment happens. So at certain time of the day you want to trigger deployment for your project. Let's say multiple people is working on, and certain time you want to initiate the deployment via cron job, you can set up and it will trigger the deployment. So this is how you can deploy applications in 3 ways. One is manual deploy, another is push to deploy, another is deploy via request URL. Thank you. Hope you have enjoyed this video. See you in the next tutorial.